Hopefully, after taking this class, you're gonna feel a crazy pump in your arms and your shoulders. That's gonna be the goal of this, is just get as much blood flowing into those muscles as you can and keep that time under tension in order to really just take your muscles all the way to failure. The way this is gonna be set up is we're gonna do 3 movements for biceps, 3 movements for triceps, and then we're just gonna do 1 singular lateral raise for shoulders to get that shoulder pump going. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with 45-second intervals on each arm for biceps. We're going to have 1 exercise that will use both biceps at the same time, so we'll still do the same 45-second interval. With that, there's going to be rest in between, but for the purposes of me showing you how to do it, I'm not going to rest in between. I'm just going to move through it and show you all how to do it, proper form and stuff like that, and then we can do the actual interval class. So the first exercise that we're going to hit is going to be biceps. We're going to do 3 bicep movements first. And so this one you're going to watch from behind, but basically we're going to keep the weight nice and light. Everybody's going to have their cables starting from the highest point that you can get them. And you're going to stand with your arm extended and out like this with your hand gripping the handle. And you're just going to pull in and squeeze. And we're going to do these for 45 seconds. So make sure you keep that weight real light, or else you won't be able to do it for the whole 45-second period. Keep it nice and controlled. And just feel it. You should feel, this is going to hit your bicep peak for the most part. We're trying to get those peaks looking nice and big and shapely. That's what gives your arm the size. The bicep muscle isn't as big as the tricep muscle, but the head of the bicep adds a lot to the whole look. So then we take our 1-minute rest, or actually we don't even need a 1-minute rest for that. We'll just hop right into our next 45-second interval with the other arm. So same thing, you'll just flip around the other way. And I found that it helps if I watch exactly what's happening. And if you don't have, a sizable bicep, the best thing you can do is just imagine it getting bigger and growing. Because if you can't imagine it growing, then it's not going to do anything for you. Just squeeze at the top there. Give them a little stimulation there. Sometimes when I just tap the part of the muscle that I'm trying to hit, it'll help me with the squeeze. So. Alright, so after that, we're going to give the big head of the bicep a little bit of break, and we're going to try to hit the outside part right here, the brachialis. And for that, we're going to need a straight bar, and we're going to hook it up as low as you can get it on your cable machine. So for this movement, you're going to use an overhand grip, and you're basically just going to have your arms shoulder width apart, like so, out in front of you. And this, you should be able to put a little bit more weight on since it's a flat bar across and you're using both arms. But we're still going to keep the weight relatively light because we're going to be doing these for 4 to 5 seconds. So all you're going to do for these is raise them up, feel it squeeze, go back down. Like I said before, you want to imagine seeing that muscle contract on the outside of your bicep, even if you can't see it right now. We'll hit this for 45 seconds just like everything else. Make sure you're not rocking. Make sure it's nice and controlled. That's going to be our second bicep workout, and we'll go ahead and take 1 minute rest for that. Let me just make sure this camera is still filming me. So after our 1 minute rest of that, we're gonna hop in to another exercise that hits the insertion point of the bicep pretty well, and also the head of the bicep well as well, because when we're down here, we're really gonna be focusing on the initial contraction to try to beef up where your bicep hits your elbow joint, so where that inserts, to give you that sort of veiny look right there and give it some definition. So for this one, we're just gonna take our cables. They should already be low, but down. In this, you'll probably want to use about the same amount of weight that we were using for the first exercise we did for the biceps. That was hitting the peak there. So, like I said, we're really going to try to get it to stretch at the bottom, and the bottom should be the hardest part. So we're going to hold our arms out in front of us. You can put your hand underneath your tricep if you'd like to take the swing out of it, and then you're just going to lift and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. We're going to do each arm for 45 seconds. So we're keeping it light, keeping it controlled, keeping that blood pumping in there. And then after that 1 minute rest, we're going to hit the other arm. Just try to put as much tension on that insertion point as you can. Alright. And then after that, we're going to have 1 minute before we start our tricep exercises. And by now, you should be feeling some blood flowing into your arms, especially your biceps. And then when we hit the triceps, it's really going to complete the whole look. Y'all are going to love the way you look once we're done with triceps. And we're going to do each one of these little mini circuits for each body part 3 separate times. So we're going to hit that once, go to triceps, hit that once, those 3, hit shoulders, and then go back to bicep. And we're going to do that until we've done them all 3 times. So first tricep exercise, we're just gonna do some good old tricep rope push downs to get our elbows nice and warmed up. And sometimes if you get them on a straight bar with that much weight, first thing, you can end up doing some damage to that area because it's a pretty sensitive area, especially if you load on too much weight and have it in a very fixed position. So that's why we're gonna, it's gonna be a warm up, but it's also gonna be part of the exercise. So the purpose of it is to get that joint moving how it should. So, and for these, you're gonna grip it with your palms facing you. So imagine you're gonna take your palms and they're gonna face you like this, and you're just gonna wrap them around the rope, because when you go to push down, that's gonna hit the lateral head of the tricep right there for you. As opposed to if you just grab it like this, it'll hit more of the front part. So you're gonna hit these, keep it nice and light. Don't let it be too easy either. You only have 45 seconds for these. Push it down in front of you too. Then we get another 1 minute break. We can leave the cable at the top there because that's where we're going to use it next. So this next tricep exercise, you're going to hit this bottom head of the tricep right there. So this is going to give you that extra size that you want on the bottom part of your arm, because the tricep is going to give you most of the size, because that's what we're going for in this class, right? We're going for size. We're trying to look good when we're at the beach, when we're in our tank tops. So this next exercise is going to slam this part of the tricep. So let's go ahead and get into it. I got to lower my weight. And for this one, just like all the other ones, visualization and form are going to be so paramount. So you're going to take the ball that's attached to the cable and put it in between your thumb and where your index finger starts, your pointer finger starts, and you're just going to wrap your hand around it like that so you have a nice good grip. And you want it to be coming, the cable to be coming from behind your head and gripped like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep it all in a straight line and just push out. And you can put your hand right here so you can make sure that you're feeling the contraction. And so the purpose of your arm being behind you is to really work that part of the tricep, because if it's in front of me, it's not going to work it. It's not going to keep that constant tension that you need. It'll just have the tension right at the end. So that's why we're keeping it behind our head. We'll do these for 45 seconds, and then just go ahead and flip right around, and we'll hit the other side for 45 seconds. And these at the end of the 45 seconds should really start to burn. If they're not, try to bring in your arm back a little bit more. Focusing on that squeeze at the end. And then hit the other side. Alright, so we'll take a break before we hit the final tricep exercise. Y'all should feel that blood sort of moving from the bicep into the tricep, or just getting extra blood all in there. So should be feeling pretty nice and pumped by now, but by the end of the third round, y'all probably won't even be able to feel your arms. It'll be so freaking pumped. So let's go ahead and hit this last tricep exercise. For this one, we're just going to take the basic handle. We're going to hit it with some light weight. And you're going to stand with the cable up high. And you want basically your shoulder in line with the bar that the cable is attached to. And we're just going to push down. Just take it, push straight down. Feel free to squeeze for as long as you see fit at the bottom. Go ahead and center yourself on the left side. We're going to hit the left side. If you need to, and if you're able to, you can grab on to something like a bar or anything that's around you. Keep yourself stable. Something to squeeze with the other hand when your triceps start to burn. Alright, so that's the end of our 3-move tricep circuit. And now we're going to hit the shoulders with some hard 45 seconds lateral raises. Some good old lateral raises. So we're going to do them right. Make sure it's our shoulders working, not our traps too much. So let's go ahead and get into that. So for this one, I would recommend dropping it to about the 3rd hole from the bottom of the cable machine. So you don't want it all the way down, but you don't want it too far up. Because you want the handle to come in as much of a straight line as possible to hit as much of those delts as you can without using too much of your shoulders. So for this one, keep the weight real light. The delts don't need to be trained too heavy to get bigger, grow size, and get better definition. So you're just going to grab the handle normal grip, and we're going to stand. Your neutral position is going to be with your hand basically in front of your belly button, or the middle of your body. Mine's a little lower. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to do just your basic lateral raise. But the most important aspect of the lateral raise is to focus on the elbow drive. Don't focus on just lifting your shoulder up. Focus on, look at your elbow and drive it up. And you should be feeling it right on the outside area of your shoulders. If you're feeling it up here, you might need to adjust something or focus more on that elbow drive. We're going to hit each side for 45 seconds. But one circuit is going to be twice on each side, so that's why I said to keep it light. Those traps, once they start burning, it can be hard to move that weight properly. Just continue to focus on raising that elbow. Ooh. And then we'll just hop right into the other side, not wasting any time. And for me, and for a lot of people, one side of our body is just easier to connect our mind with than the other. For me, my right side, I have a much better mind muscle connection than with my left side. So you may have to pay a little more attention or adjust some things in order to be able to feel it the same way that you did on your dominant side. So just pay attention to that. That's okay. If you need help with that, I can come over and give you cues. So help with that. But if we're focusing on the elbow drive, we should be able to get the job done on both sides just fine. So let's go ahead and start this one. And it's okay to lean over a little bit while you're doing it, but don't lean over too much because then you'll be hitting the rear delt, and that's not really the objective we're going for here. We want some slide delts to really works. It's the best way it works. And then that's it for the whole circuit, and we'll wait another minute. And then we'll just hop right back in to our bicep exercises. So whatever you want to do within that minute, I sometimes like to just stand in the mirror and flex, keep that blood pumping, look at myself, enjoy what I've been doing, know that all that burn, all that pain is for something. So that's a really important thing to remember, is to know that what you're doing is making you better, whether you see it today or whether you see it in a year. And I want you to remember that when the end of those 45 seconds comes, is that last 15 seconds after the first 30 is going to hurt. But that's the whole purpose, is to push through and to get better and to progress. So, especially with the body parts that are the easiest ones to see progress with, in my opinion. So, that's going to be our class. We'll hit it 2 more times. And then we should be feeling pretty good about ourselves. So.